All right, with this video, I'm going to show what's called a double standard throughout all his arguments. His entire presentations is built on these double standards. So even though Cologne will interlock his hands and claim that we did this together, all of his arguments are a juxtaposition between Black American and Latin, Black American and Caribbean, Black American culture versus New York culture, Black American culture versus the Bronx culture. Always that juxtaposition.
But those moves have nothing to do with the movement. The movement of breaking, the movement of hip hop, the movement of the breakers is separated by time and space.
See, the way Cologne presents it, Black culture is just a bunch of things that happen, a bunch of snapshots. They're unrelated to each other. There's no cultural continuity. One thing never leads to the next. There's no precursors, and anything that happens results in nothing. The only movement in Black culture for Cologne is in conjunction with something Latin. And any aspect of Black American culture related to Africa, any African idioms, any African rhythm, any African instruments, anything pertaining to Africa has to come through the Caribbean first. It always comes through the Caribbean, from Latin people to New York.
And has nothing to do with the South. I rest my case. Now let's look at.
Now are you saying that the percussion of the b-boy anthems, its precursor, its father, is Africa and the Caribbean? That's what I'm saying. Yes,
Absolutely.
I mean, anybody who knows history, yeah.
Absolutely, and I do want to take it back, though, to our root, because we were drumming to the Mayohuacan, which is indigenous to our root, and we were forming the cipher.
Trying to appropriate the term cipher.
You know, so if people want to take it back to the 1930s, and I don't know I know that you said some people have mentioned, I don't know who those people are, but when they take it to the 1930s, the 1920s, the 1800s, you know, I always think to myself, and I know many other Boricuas and people who trace back to that part of the Americas can say, you know what, that's kind of recent. We kind of go back many centuries before that, where the cipher with the Tatainos. And again, those two groups came together and they intermingled and they created what we know as bomba. And there's many different variations through many different regions of the Caribbean. And here you go. Those instruments are traveling to the Mecca of music, the Mecca of New York is where beautiful music was created.
There's so much to say about these clips. One little sleight of hand technique. Bomba drums are not Congo drums. So they're talking about the history of bomba and somehow switch that to Congo drums. There's no soul, funk, R&B, and rock groups that incorporate the bomba drum.
The bongo, the conga, the clave, the cowbell, the timbales, all of those instruments. But when it comes to the conga and the bongo, those are Afro-Caribbean instruments. Okay, one more time. The conga is not made in Africa. The conga is made in Cuba. It is an iteration of the African drum.
He's being very devious here with his claims. He's saying these drums come from Africa. And of course, according to him, Black America has no cultural continuity and therefore claim to them. And they are recreated by Afro-Cubans, to be precise. And then they make their way to New York City, completely bypassing all of Black America. Black America has no right to these drums. So he's very strict with the definitions. But when it comes to bomba drums, somehow they might as well be the same as the Afro-Cuban Congo drums. New Yorkers can lay claim to these Congo drums, but not Black Americans. Very devious.
And has nothing to do with the South. I rest my case. Now let's look at
the fact that for me, the Latin breakdown is
no such thing.
more than just, and with the project I'm working on, what I want to stress is that the Latin breakdown is more than just saying that we put Latin percussion instruments in a song, and therefore that song is used to have a certain flavor for dancers to dance to. What I'm saying is that the Latin breakdown goes back to the beginning of beginnings. This wasn't invented by African American bands in wherever they were from. This was already a thing from Africa to the Caribbean islands, and let's Cuba, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Borican, and all of that, and the Taino, the indigenous people, and you mentioned the Cari and all those people. So all the islands, Jamaica, they all had indigenous Indians that lived on those islands, and there were Tainos there too. So to say that a culture just sprung out of thin air at a certain point over here.
So Black America has no roots. It comes from nowhere.
Without going back to do the history and see, it comes from back here. Now, I think the rub, Andrina, and tell me what you feel about this. I think the rub with some people is that they think we're saying that we're trying to erase the African American presence from this because we include the word Latin.
No, that's exactly what he's trying to do. It comes from Africa, it goes to the Caribbean, and then it goes to New York, and it bypasses the entire South.
And has nothing to do with the South. I rest my case. Now let's look at
this part again. Tell me, is this man being honest?
Here, now I think the rub, Andrina, and tell me what you feel about this. I think the rub with some people is that they think we're saying that we're trying to erase the African American presence from this because we include the word Latin.
Is he honest? I don't think so.
That we're trying to erase the African American presence from this because we include the word Latin.
No.
Latin.
And has nothing to do with the South. I rest my case. Now let's look at
how is it that in hip hop and the precursors to hip hop, we have these naturally occurring terms: get down, go off, break down, drum breaks, break beats, the breaks, for 50, 60, 70 years. And now all of a sudden, in the 2020s, some bum comes up with the Latin breakdown. How does that make any kind of sense? It's bullshit. It's about Puerto Rican nationalism and the ego of Latin supremacy. Nationality, ethnicity, and race. Otherwise, why do we need another term? We can't call them breaks. What's wrong with just calling them breaks? Break beats. How is it the Latin breakdown if we all did it together? Let's get this right. I'll make a deal with Cologne. I will stop making videos that criticize and expose Cologne's arguments and bring up facts which contradict what he says if he and the Crumb Crew rename the breaks to the Black American, Latin, Caribbean, and other ethnicities breakdowns. Let's add all the ethnicities that go into any of the breaks. How about that? No? Only the term Latin? That's the only one that counts?
and has nothing to do with the South. I rest my case. Now let's look at...
Jotted some notes down. And I feel that there's many correlations between b-boy culture and bomba. The way that you see the b-boys start to enter the circle, the cipher, is similar in bomba. We start to enter in with signals, whether we, do that or anything like that. And music and others that dance of the challenge, we signal to others that the challenge is about to begin. And our dancing is also not rehearsed. It's improvised. All of it is improvised. It's not something, so with all due respect, I think that the Mills brothers, they're phenomenal dancers, but you have to take in consideration that this is a stage. This is something that was set up. It was rehearsed. It was premeditated. It was something that somebody taught a group of individuals to go ahead and say, hey, now when this comes in, you have to go like this, and let's all go to the right. Let's all go to the left. Now spin. Now do this. Now do that. It wasn't something that they felt at that moment and was able to freestyle on their own. That is something that was premeditated. And I do apologize. I do have my cat that is begging to be let in.
Now, they never really show what it is they're talking about. Let's look at a clip. Does this look like hip hop? Does this really look like it has anything to do with b-boying? No, they don't even form a cipher. It's called a drum coro or chorus, a drum chorus. Now, this is supposed to be the root of b-boying. It's supposed to come from this, but not from the South, nothing from the South, nothing from Black America. It goes back to this.
That sound there, 'cause this goes back to the plena, goes back to the bomba.
Let's listen to it. Does this sound like anything hip hop? Come on, man. The reaching and the stretching, it's amazing. Now, mind you, that Cologne thinks the original B-boys, the ones that Kool Herc gave the name B-boy to, well, they're not even B-boys. They shouldn't use the term B-boy, but somehow there's a connection from bomba to breaking.
Well, I'll top rock. I'll top rock. You know what I'm saying? I'll top rock. You know what I'm saying? We top rocking. You know what I'm saying? We top rocking. That's our top rock. You know what I'm saying?
There you go, there you go. There you go.
And has nothing to do with the South. I rest my case. Now let's look at.
And when we say African-American bands, I don't agree with that. I don't agree that, oh, well, the African-American bands. No, because when you look at it, it's not an African-American band. That has been pushed down our throat, that this type of music is African-American music. And I stand by that, and I will continue to stand by that, that it's not African-American music. It's not one group that created that. And when you touched about that, yes, it comes from Africa. So when they were brought to the islands, absolutely. But our root, remember, because the root is, we were already doing that with the Mayohuacan drumming and our cipher circle, and we had our rhythm.
That and has nothing to do with the South. I rest my case. Now let's look at some of the MCs or the rhyming that happens in the South and see, does it come from the Bronx or does it come from the South? Check this out.
But it's over and over. Oh, no, oh, no, God's gonna ride on the women's side. But it's over. Oh, no, God's gonna ride on the women's side. Brother Noah, my God's talking right on the women's side. Said he would ride on the wind and tide. Hey, children, stop still and listen to me. God walked down to the brandy sea. He declared that he must send a man, and then he decided to destroy the land. He spoke to Noah. Noah stopped. He said, Noah, I want you to build me an ark. I want you to build it 3 cubits long. I want you to build it big and strong. I want it 30 high and 50 wide, so it will stand the wind and tide.
Most people who hear this instantly recognize what is a style of poetry known as rap. It is very well documented as an art form and a cultural continuity within Black America. It's absurd for a historian or an educator to not understand this documented history, to not understand this documented art form.
So that is supposed to be rapping in the South.
Yep.
What would evolve into MCing.
Exactly.
But I want you to notice the difference between that, which is just simply rhyming. It's rhyming. It's not MCing. That is that radio style rhyming. But if we're going to say that's MCing, that's rapping, then we got to say Mother Goose was the inventor of rap, Dr. Seuss was the inventor of rap, limericks were the inventors of rap. Come on, man.
So notice the difference in rap from the early 30s to the early 80s, almost 50 years. Is it supposed to sound exactly the same? It's going to change over time. How dishonest can you be?
Like, let's be serious. None of that comes from the South. This is what MCing sounded like in the Bronx. And there's a big difference. Check this out.
Introducing the crew, you gotta see to believe. We're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 MCs. I'm Melly Mel and I'm rocking so well. And I'm Mr. Ness because I rocks the best. I'm Raheem, hot in all the ladies' drink. And I'm Cowboy to make you jump for joy. I'm Creole, solid gold. The key Creole, playing the role. Big fish with a furious 5 plus Grandmaster plan. Giving you a blast, show enough class. So to prove to you all we're second to none, we're gonna make 5 MCs sound like one.
So there you have it. You can obviously see the difference between what they're saying was rapping in the South in the 1930s and the 40s to what they were doing in the 1970s in the Bronx. A humongous difference. I don't even really need to go any further.
Of course it's different. We're talking about half a century of time in between. It's a culture that's evolving. Rap was a precursor element which became hip-hop. Show me again what's supposed to be the same here. Let's look at another 2 rap recordings about 40 to 50 years apart.
Yes, just come on, brothers, if you want to hear a story about that preacher and the bear. Gather round, boys. I don't want you to miss none of this here story, because it goes like this.
Have you ever went over a friend's house to eat and the food just ain't no good? I mean, the macaroni soggy, the peas are mushed, and the chicken tastes like wood. So you try to play it off like you think you can by saying that you're full. And then your friend says, Mama, he just being polite. He ain't finished. That bull.
It's actually amazing that these 2 raps sound so similar. The same 4/4 time signature, damn near the same tempo, the same rhyme structure, the same cadence. It sounds like it's written by the same person.
Introducing the crew, you gotta see to believe. We're 1, 2.
Now compare 80s rap to 90s rap just a decade later. According to Cologne's weirdo logic, 80s rappers, they're not even MCs. They're just rhymers.
The MCs, like the voice of the city, the voice of the culture, which doesn't begin until 76, 77.
Yeah, to say that a culture just sprung out of thin air at a certain point over here without going back to do the history and see.
Until 76, 77.
Yeah, to say that a culture just sprung out of thin air.
Melly Mel coined the term MC. There were obviously MCs before Melly Mel and rappers before Melly Mel. But for some reason, Cologne says it starts with Melly Mel. Even though Melly Mel says that he got it from earlier forms of rap.
It was a full moon in the middle of June, in the summer of '59. I was young and cool and shot a bad game of pool and hustled all the chumps I could find. Now they call me sport 'cause I pushed the ball short and loved all the women to death. I partied hard and packed a mean rod and could knock you out with a right or left. See, I learned to shoot pool playing hooky from school at the tender age of 9. And by the time I was 11, I could pad roll 7 and down a whole quart of wine. I was making it a point to smoke me a joint at least once during the course of a day, and I was snorting skag while other kids played tag and their elders went to church to pray. I pitched pennies and down bennies and played the horses at the track. I wanted cards against tremendous odds, and my favorite game was blackjack. I'd seldom lost 'cause my game was so boss. I mean, I had my shit down packed.
And I was running through bitches like rags to riches, 'cause that's where my heart was at. Yes, I was a down stud's dream, a hustler supreme. There was no game that I couldn't play. And if I caught a dude cheating, I would give him a beating, and I might even blow him away. Rah!
But now, before we even get into that, I want to show you some examples of people that they claim were MCs before.
No one claims that anyone was an MC. The fact is that people rapped before sound systems and park jams. Rap has a long history in Black American culture.
Which they were really just rhymers. But let's check out a couple of examples.
Yeah, he the cold swing. Just about ready to do that thing. I don't want no tears, I don't want no lies. Above all, I don't want no alibis. This judge is hip, and that ain't all. He'll give you time if you're big or small. Fall in line, or this coat is neat. Peace, brother.
But Pygmy Markham had a rap called Here Come the Judge. And he made a record out of it. That was a rap. That was a rhyme. It's Here Come the Judge. Here come the judge. Now this and that, and this and...
Pygmy Markham had a record called Here Comes the Judge. Hear ye, the quarters swing. Just about ready to do that thing. I don't want no tears, don't want no lies, and above all, I don't want no alibis. This judge is hip, and that ain't all. He'll give you time if you're big or small. Fall in line, this court is neat. Peace, brother. Bam, boom, boom. Tap, 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 tap.
Here Come the Judge is one of the break beats we rhyme over. Gather here, the quarter swing. It's just about ready to... That's absolutely what we're doing in terms of hip-hop.
Everybody, near and far, I'm going to Paris to stop this war. All those cats got to listen to me, because I am the judge that you can plainly see.
I've always said Pygmy Markham, Here Comes the Judge is the first rap record. Look it up, YouTube it, whatever. Because that is really rap on records. Not the last poets that did something on the offbeat. This is exactly what we do.
Pygmy Markham introduced me to the flow of it and the humor. Throw your hands in the air, wave like you just don't care.
I mean, exactly the way we rhyme in the 1930s. Exactly the same way.
Right.
Pygmy Markham, who lived in the Bronx, and the style that he uses is the style that we use today.
Pygmy Markham was from North Carolina. He moved to the Bronx and became a regular at the Apollo Theater. He lived in the Bronx. He died in the Bronx. Buried in the Bronx. Now, what if he was Puerto Rican? What if he came from Puerto Rico to the Bronx? What if his name was Puerco Carne Marco Jamon? Would Cologne have an entire different story? Of course he would.
Who got the number? Who got the number? Everybody knows that John got the number.
Boy, what the devil's wrong with you?
Guess what?
What?
I got the number.
What?
I got the number.
Well, how'd you get it?
Over the telephone.
What? I'm a runner, number runner. But Big Joe done told all his men don't take no numbers after 10:30.
Well, it's 10:30 now. We can't win.
Yeah, but I got a way I can slip them in. See, I collect in Brooklyn along the dock. I don't get in before 11 o'clock.
Well, here's the number for your inspection.
Well, I'll slip it in with my collection.
Woo! Who got the number? Who got the number? Everybody knows that John got the number.
Is that a 6?
It ain't no 9.
Oh, well, what's that?
3, boy. Is you blind?
Oh, well, what's that last one? A man or 5?
Let me see a 7. No, it ain't. It's a 5.
Oh, 6, 3, 5.
You right.
How you gonna play them heavy or light?
I'm gonna play it for $1.
Well, the boss might holler.
Well, let me play it for a half.
Don't make me laugh.
Woo! Who got the number? Who got the number? Everybody knows that John got the number.
Now take a little water, play it for a quarter. You want to be a hog when you first commence?
Well, put me down there for 25 cents.
Now you're stepping in the righteous path. You play it for the quarter, and I'll play it for the half.
We're gonna break the bank down.
No, we ain't gonna miss.
We're gonna break that rope down.
We can't resist.
Woo! Who got the number? Who got the number? Everybody knows that John got the number.
It's called A Double Standard.
You may run on for a long time, run on for a long time, run on for a long time. Let me tell you, God Almighty gonna cut you down. You may run on for a long time, may run on for a long time, run on for a long time. Let me tell you, God Almighty gonna cut you down. Go tell that long-tongued liar, go tell that midnight rider, tell the gambler, the rambler, backbiter, tell them God Almighty gonna cut them down.
You may throw your rocks and hide your hand, plotting in the dark against your fellow man. But sure as God made the day and night, what's done in the dark will be brought to the light. You can run and hide, slip and slide, talk about the mote in your neighbor's eye. But sure as God made the rich and poor, you're going to reap just what you sow. You can run for a long time.
You may run on for a long time, run on for a long time. Let me tell you, God Almighty's gonna cut you down. Go tell that long-tongued liar, go tell that midnight rider, tell the gambler, the rambler, backbiter, tell them God Almighty's gonna cut them down.
Some brothers go to church just to signify,
tell them God Almighty's gonna cut them down.